This is The Wire for 2000 Zulu, March 3rd, 2026. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 1900. Bottom line up front. Drone and missile attacks continue throughout the Persian Gulf. Saudi forces deploy to quell riots in Bahrain. Major oil facilities shut down throughout Middle East due to strikes. Israel launches ground invasion of Lebanon. Beginning with international events, in the Middle East, the Gulf War continues as Iranian forces begin shifting to strategic targets. Most of the drone and missile attacks overnight targeted oil production facilities such as the Fujairah industrial zone in the UAE, which has been taken offline. Otherwise, the attacks on American installations continue, with the American embassy in Riyadh being hit multiple times by drones overnight. In Bahrain, significant riots have broken out around the country as the majority Shia population begins expressing dissent with the Sunni government, and more specifically the American presence within the nation. Saudi forces crossed the bridge this morning with anti-riot forces to help quell the more kinetic protests, which have become intense over the past 24 hours. Analysts comment. Politics in Bahrain were complicated before the war, as the population is mostly Shia and aligned with the Ayatollah, but the country is ruled by a kingdom that is Sunni. Even before the shooting started, the situation was tenuous at best, and the assassination of the Ayatollah might have been the spark needed to kick off a civil conflict within the island nation. This is a complicating factor for the United States, as Bahrain has long served as a major center of gravity for American combat power in the region. Now that some locals are getting rowdy and are also aligned with Iran, this will make things more difficult. In Lebanon, this morning, Israeli forces launched a ground invasion in the south, opening up another front so as to seize terrain along the border. Lebanese army forces have withdrawn from the border as Israeli units advance. Analysts comment. It is not clear as to if this is a legitimate full-scale ground invasion or limited border incursions that Israel is known to do throughout southern Lebanon. So far, Israeli forces haven't crossed their limit of advance set during the height of the conflict 2 years ago. In the United Kingdom, a stabbing attack was reported in Edinburgh, which resulted in a standoff lasting several hours yesterday afternoon. One unidentified assailant began stabbing people in an apartment building, which resulted in 2 people being wounded. After the attack, the suspect fled into the apartment building, which resulted in a standoff situation that lasted 7 hours. Eventually, police were able to breach the building and to detain the suspect. Separately, in Birmingham, a different stabbing attack was captured on film this morning, which involved an assailant stabbing a man on the street outside a Catholic school in Elm Rock. This attacker was arrested at the scene, and very few details remain public regarding his identity. Analyst comments for this wire. Yesterday afternoon, the U.S. State Department published the list of nations that Americans should evacuate from, which includes the entire Middle East. The Depart Now order has been issued for the nations of Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, West Bank, Gaza, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the UAE, and Yemen. However, the U.S. State Department has stated that Americans are on their own regarding evacuations. Even though the start of this combat operation was easily predicted down to the exact day and nearly the exact hour that it began, the United States somehow believes that they needed to maintain the element of surprise. The State Department believed that if they made attempts to evacuate the Middle East before the attack, the world would know that the war was imminent. This is also why many American bases appear to not be fortified as much as they could have been. In many cases, the Pentagon appears to not understand that their operation was very observable to the public, and their attempts to maintain the secrecy that they thought they had resulted in little preparation in some areas. False sense of operational security aside, what this means at the moment is logistical challenges, because everyone is having to sit tight for the moment until the war calms down enough to make evacuation flights reliable. A handful of flights have been able to make it in and out of Dubai despite heavy GPS jamming efforts in the region. The governments of Britain and Poland are tentatively looking to start military organized evacuation flights throughout the region over the next few days. However, details are not yet solidified regarding these efforts. Italy has already conducted the military evacuation of some of their citizens from the region who arrived back in Italy this morning. So far, the official policy of the U.S. State Department is that U.S. citizens are on their own, and not a single evacuation flight of Americans has yet taken place to evacuate American citizens from the region. Right now, it might not seem like much, but time is in fact running out. Every single Western-aligned Arab nation in the region is running out of interceptor missiles, with some nations reporting that they have burned through many years' worth of their supply in just the past 2 days. Just this morning alone, the UAE blew through 172 interceptor missiles to take out 172 Iranian munitions that would have otherwise impacted targets inside their country. While it is unconfirmed hearsay at the moment, the rumor throughout the region is that the U.S. has declined to restock these supplies, as most stockpiles of interceptor missiles have been allocated for Israel. As a result, this war is now a marathon to see who has more missiles, the Iranians or the other Persian Gulf states. At the moment, hundreds of drones and missiles are being intercepted out over the Gulf every day. The viral videos of drones slamming into targets on land are merely the munitions that have made it through missile defenses, which is a drop in the bucket compared to the true number of drones and missiles that are being launched. This has led many to the false assumption that this war will fade away within a few days, because they can't visually see the interceptions that are taking place out over the water. However, it's now day 4 of this conflict, and the drone attacks have remained constant. When and if missile interceptors dwindle, these munitions will have nothing stopping them from reaching their targets. Last night, President Trump stated that American stockpiles of munitions are at adequate levels and that, quote, wars can be fought forever at current stockpile levels of medium-grade munitions. Despite the rather unfortunate choice of vocabulary in this post, the cold hard truth is that the U.S. has not been supplying the Arab nations that are now getting hit with the munitions necessary for their defense, or more importantly, the defense of American assets and citizens in the region. This will complicate the self-evacuation of Americans over the next few weeks, in addition to sharply increasing the potential for more widespread drone attacks over the next few days. This concludes the wire for 2000 Zulu, March 3rd, 2026.